Trump, Zelenskyy hold high-stakes summit amid tensions over peace talks with Putin. The two leaders are set to sign a deal granting U.S. access to Ukraine's minerals. Vance blast Zelenskyy, call him disrespectful at White House. President Donald Trump told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, "You don't have the cards." President Trump and President Zelenskyy met at the White House on Friday, following a heated exchange over peace talks and an abrupt shift in U.S. policy toward Vladimir Putin and Russia. As the war neared its third year, Trump labeled Zelenskyy a dictator without elections and a modestly successful comedian, while expressing deference to Putin, asserting that the U.S. would negotiate terms with Russia. This followed Zelenskyy's remark that Trump was trapped in a web of disinformation after initial discussions between U.S. and Kremlin officials in Saudi Arabia. Trump had also falsely claimed Ukraine instigated the war rather than Russia's invasion. At stake is the signing of a crucial agreement giving the U.S. access to Ukraine's mineral resources, framed by Trump as a means for American taxpayers to recover funds spent on Ukraine's war effort. We'll be digging. We'll be digging. Dig, we must, Trump declared Thursday, emphasizing the U.S. would engage in substantial resource extraction, securing rare earth minerals vital to the country. It'll be great for Ukraine, he added. It's a major economic development project, a win for both nations. Why Trump's very big Ukraine minerals deal may not be an easy win. Zelenskyy has framed the deal differently, viewing it as a means to maintain U.S. support. Though the deal lacks full military security guarantees Zelenskyy deems essential for peace, Trump officials argue U.S. economic investment in Ukraine could act as a deterrent against further Russian aggression. U.S. support crucial. Zelenskyy says amid mineral deal negotiations, "I will meet with President Trump," Zelenskyy stated Wednesday. "For me and for the world, America's continued assistance is crucial. Strength is key on the path to peace." ABC News spoke with officials and analysts to examine the deal and its implications for Ukraine's future and war-ending efforts. What is and isn't in the deal? Sources say the deal allows the U.S. and Ukraine to jointly extract valuable minerals and other natural resources. Unlike initial proposals, this version does not require Kyiv to use revenue from resource sales to repay the U.S. $500 billion, originally framed by Trump officials as payback for the roughly $183 billion spent aiding Ukraine, per the U.S. Special Inspector General. Instead, the deal establishes a joint U.S.-Ukraine investment fund for post-war reconstruction, with further negotiations on its management set for after its implementation. Market forces will also play a role. The fund's success hinges on private sector investments in Ukraine's resources, said Gracelyn Baskarin and Meredith Schwartz from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Industry response is key and will determine the value the U.S. ultimately gains, they added. But Ukraine made concessions. Kyiv originally sought explicit security guarantees, absent from the final agreement. However, U.S.-Ukraine investment in Ukraine's resources ensures an American stake in Ukraine's stability and security, Baskarin and Schwartz explained. If successful, they said, the U.S. could enhance its mineral security, though results may take decades. Mining is a long-term process. Benefits may not materialize for another 20 years. Trump acknowledged the uncertainty. You dig, and maybe things aren't there like you expect. Trump trusts Putin to keep his word and more takeaways from Starmer talks on Ukraine. A different tune from Trump after repeatedly criticizing Zelenskyy, Trump softened his stance Thursday. Asked if he still believed Zelenskyy was a dictator, a claim he made a week prior, Trump responded, "Did I say that? I can't believe I said that," before moving on. Later, he praised Zelenskyy and Ukrainian troops' bravery. "We've given him a lot of equipment and money, but they've fought bravely. No matter how you look at it, they've really fought," he said. "Someone has to use that equipment, and they've done so bravely." Ukrainian officials pushing for the mineral deal may view this shift as evidence that signing Trump's agreement could improve Kyiv's relationship with the administration, while delaying could sour Trump's view of Zelenskyy. Yet, how long this goodwill lasts is uncertain. Critical mineral access is the latest example of Trump's transactional diplomacy, Baskarin and Schwartz noted. But the deal's success remains uncertain as tensions persist between the leaders. Trump's impatience is well known, and U.S. officials warn that slow progress could frustrate him. A tense White House meeting could also reignite hostilities, with Trump emphasizing the deal's benefits for the US while Zelenskyy pushes for added security guarantees. But on the eve of the meeting, Trump was optimistic. "I think we're going to have a great meeting," he said. "We're going to get along well. We respect each other." I respect him. John E. Herbst, senior director of the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center and former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, argues the very fact the meeting is happening is a positive sign for Ukraine. Zelensky's visit marks progress from just 2 weeks ago when Trump mentioned meeting Putin multiple times, or even last week when U.S. and Russian officials met in Riyadh, he said. Now Zelenskyy, not Putin, is in the Oval Office. Trump says, Putin will have to make concessions. U.S. won't make Ukraine guarantees beyond very much. The other negotiations. While public focus has centered on the mineral deal, separate negotiations aimed at ending the war in Ukraine continue. On Thursday, U.S. and Russian officials met in Istanbul for 6 hours, discussing embassy staffing increases, an issue Secretary of State Marco Rubio previously cited as essential for future cooperation, including ending the war. Officials reported a positive outcome, predicting that expanded diplomatic operations could advance peace talks and a potential Trump-Putin summit, as European leaders push Trump to include U.S. security guarantees in any truce. Trump insists he trusts Putin to uphold his word. "I've known him a long time," Trump said. "I don't think he'll break his word. I think a deal will hold." But before meeting UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he added a key caveat. "Look, it's trust and verify," he said. Clifford D. May, president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, stresses Trump must remain clear-eyed about Putin. It's reasonable for Trump to show respect to Putin if he believes that will encourage concessions, but he must harbor no illusions about Putin's ambitions and his hostility toward American strength.